So I was wasting my time on Twitter X and I found a tweet that's very interesting. You won't believe what Adele Bloch says. How to make friends as an adult without the existential dread you've missed your chance. Tips. Get off your couch. Say yes to things even if you're tired. When you vibe with someone, ask to hang. Don't wait for them to initiate. Try multiple communities and events to see what resonates. Don't commit to just one. Show up consistently. Don't flake. Ask follow-up questions. Remember the details. Be vulnerable. Don't take rejection personally. People may be busy or have different schedules. Prioritize friendship like you would exercise. It requires effort and time. Once you meet a few people, host small gatherings. Even 4 people for dinner. Fastest way to build a friend group. Iterate over time. Keep meeting new people. Try new things and have fun with it. The power of network effects is real. You never know when someone introduces you to someone who becomes your new best friend. Give it time. It takes time to find your rhythm. Go put yourself out there. People are waiting to meet you. You got it. Alright, let's play. Should we put that in the trash, flush it down the toilet, or put it in the bank and save it? If you like these type of videos where we talk about tweets that can actually improve your life, and if that sounds interesting to you, I have many other videos on my channel that you can check out that could really help. But if not, then it's just going to be a laugh and we're going to have a good time. So let's get back into the video. Tell me not. You know there's this moment in adulthood that nobody warns you about. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not like a movie. It's not very dramatic. No one really talks about it. It sneaks up on you. One day you're living your life, doing your routines, going to work, scrolling your phone, telling yourself it's going to be an okay day. And then something tiny happens. Maybe you see a group of friends laughing at a restaurant, or you hear someone talk about their weekend plan, or you get sick and realize there's no one you feel comfortable asking for help. And suddenly it hits you like a slow moving big truck that ends up hitting you. You don't really have friends anymore. Not real ones. Not the kind who know you. Not the kind who show up. Not the kind you can call without overthinking and thinking, oh, am I friends with them or not? Maybe. What am I going to say? And you don't tell anyone this. You don't even say it out loud to yourself. You just keep going. And it just is like a secret that you keep to yourself because you feel embarrassed people knowing. And if this is you, stay with me here because I'm going to say it. I also was in that same position. I'm going to tell you about the moment I realized I had 0 friends at 25. But before I get to that, I want to talk to you about something else. Something that might already be sitting heavy on your chest. There's this fear, maybe you felt it, that you missed your chance. That friendship is something you were supposed to build in high school or college or early 20s. And if you didn't, well, too bad. Everyone else around found their people. Everyone else around has their group chat, their brunch crew, their ride or die. And you're the last one standing in the cafeteria holding a tray with nowhere to sit. But here's the truth. You need to hear before anything else. You haven't missed your chance. You're not behind. You're not the only one feeling this way. And you're not doomed to a life of surface level interactions and lonely weekends. You can build deep, meaningful friendship as an adult. You can. And it works faster than you think. But it does require something from you. Something small, something uncomfortable. I'll tell you the one thing that changed everything for me. The one that sounds obvious but almost nobody actually does. But first, let me take you back to the moment that changed everything. I was standing in a grocery store on a Friday night. Already a red flag. I was in the snack aisle staring at the chips like they were going to give me some life advice. And I saw this group of friends, 3 of them, arguing about which flavor to get. Laughing, teasing with each other, doing that thing where you can tell they're known each other for years. And I remember thinking, damn, I miss that. I used to have that. And then the thought that followed, the one that hit me in the gut, was I don't even know who I would text if I wanted to do something like that. Not like a big party, not a trip that everyone gets invited to and you have to plan it out in a group chat or something, but just grab some chips. And that's when it clicked. Friendship doesn't disappear because you're unworthy. It disappears because adulthood rearranges your life until connection becomes optional. And then you forget to choose it. But you can choose it again. And that's what the whole conversation is about. Let's start with something simple. Something that sounds almost too basic to matter. Getting off your couch. I know. It sounds like the kind of advice your grandma would give you while you're getting gifted a sweater that you didn't want for Christmas. But let me tell you a story. There was a period of my life where every weekend looked the same. I'd tell myself I was resting. I'd tell myself I was recharging. But it wasn't rest. It was me hiding. It was avoidance. I was wrapping myself in a blanket watching Netflix and eating tons of junk food. I'd scroll through social media and see people hanging out, doing things, and I'd think, damn, that must feel really nice. But I never actually put myself in the position to experience any of it. One Saturday, a friend of a friend invited me to a hangout later that day. I almost said no. I hovered over the text like it was a bomb or something. I told myself I was tired. I told myself I wouldn't know anyone. I told myself it would be awkward. But something in me, maybe desperation, maybe hope, said, okay, fine, let's do it. And that night didn't magically give me a best friend, but it did something more important. It reminded me what it felt like right to be around people again, to laugh, to be included, to be human. You can't build connection from your couch. You can heal there, you can rest there, but you can't build a life there. I know you're tired, but sometimes the exhaustion isn't physical. It's just something emotional that you have to find help in. It's the weight of loneliness convincing you that staying home is safer. But safety isn't the same as actually doing something that'll improve your life forward. And that brings me to the next thing, saying yes even when you're tired. Let me tell you about Maya. She's one of those people who always look like she has her life together. Great job, great apartment, her plants don't die because she takes care of every single one somehow. But she told me something once that stuck with me. She said, I forced myself to say yes to everything for 90 days. Not in a reckless way, not in a let's ruin my life way. Just if someone invited her to something, she went. A coworker's trivia night, a neighbor's barbecue, a poetry class she found on a flyer. She said the first few weeks were awkward. She felt like an extra in someone else's TV show. But something shifted. People started remembering her, inviting her again, introducing her to their friends. And here's the psychology behind it. Humans bond through repeated exposure. It's called the mere exposure effect. The more people see you, the more they feel connected to you. So yes, you're tired, but sometimes the cure for that tiredness is actually connection. Now here's the tip that changed everything for me. The one I mentioned earlier, the one that sounded obvious but almost nobody actually does. When you vibe with someone, ask to hang out, don't wait for them to initiate. I know it feels terrifying. It feels like asking someone out on a date, but let me tell you about a time that this all clicked for me. I met this guy at a coffee shop. We were both working on our laptops and we ended up talking about podcasts. We vibed instantly. Same humor, same interests, same I'm pretending to be productive, but I'm just watching some anime on my laptop. And no, this isn't one of those, are you boyfriends? I'm not gay. That's not what's happening. I'm just saying that it's like one of those bro moments. Normally, I would have walked away thinking, wow, cool person. Hope I run into them again. But I didn't wait. I said, hey, this was fun. We should hang out sometime. He said yes. We meet up the next week and now we're best friends, basically. Well, an adult best friend. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Adults are desperate for someone to go first. Everyone's waiting for someone else to initiate. Everyone's afraid of being too much. Everyone's scared of rejection. But the people who build friendships are the ones who take the tiny risks. And if you're thinking, but what if they say no? Then you're asking the wrong question. The real question is, what if they say yes? Now let's talk about communities, because this is where people get stuck. You try one event, it's awkward. You don't click with anyone. You go home and think, well, guess I'm doomed. But here's the truth. Finding your people is like dating. You don't marry the first person you meet. Let me tell you about some guy named Jordan. He tried a hiking group, hated it, tried a book club, too quiet. He tried dancing classes, and then he figured out he doesn't even like getting sweaty. But then he tried a photography class, and suddenly everything changed for him. Not because everyone there was perfect, but because he felt like he could finally like something that didn't bore him. That he wasn't just sitting on the couch doing nothing. You're not looking for a perfect person. You're looking for resonance, and you only find resonance by trying multiple rooms. I'll tell you the community that surprised me the most. The one that accidentally gave me 3 new friends. But we'll get there. Before that, we need to talk about consistency. This is where the magic happens. Not in the first meeting, not in the second, but in the consistency. There's a reason kids make friends so easily. They see the same person every day. Adults don't have that built-in repetition, so you have to create it. Let me tell you about the climbing gym. I once went, nobody talked to me. I felt like an alien. I went again. One person nodded at me. I went a 3rd time. Someone asked if I wanted to climb with them. By the 5th time, I had a group chat. Consistency is what really brings you together, but it's how strangers become familiar with each other, and being familiar makes you comfortable, and comfortable makes you friends. Now let's talk about something deeper, asking follow-up questions, remembering details, being vulnerable. This is the part where a connection deepens. Anyone can talk about the weather, but friendship grows in the details. Imagine you meet someone at the event. They mentioned they're training for a half marathon. Next time you see them, you say, hey, how's that training going? You still doing that early morning thing? It's that tiny moment that really makes things pop. It's a huge signal saying, I want to have a conversation and you're a pretty interesting person. I care. You matter enough to remember. And vulnerability, that's the accelerator. Not trauma dumping, not oversharing, just being real. Saying things like, honestly, I've been trying to make new friends. It feels weird, but I'm glad that we met. People respond to honesty like plants respond to sunlight. Now rejection. This one hurts, but it's crucial. Adults aren't rejecting you. They're rejecting the timing. People have kids, jobs, partners, burnout, schedules that look like playing the hardest level on any game you can think of, hard mode. Let me tell you something that fretted me. Someone being busy doesn't mean you're unworthy. I once invited a guy to hang out 4 times. He said no every time. Just busy. 6 months later, he reached out and said, hey, I finally have time. Let's go hang out at some place and eat lunch together. We've been friends ever since. Rejection isn't a verdict. It's a scheduling conflict. And here's a reframe that changed my entire life. Philosophy. Friendship. It's spontaneous. It's a practice. Just like exercise. Just like learning a language. Just like anything that matters. You don't get fit by thinking about the gym. You get fit by showing up. Friendship works the same way. And here's the neuroscience behind it. Your brain bonds through shared experiences and repeated interactions. You can't shortcut that, but you can schedule it. Now let's talk about that story story I was going to bring up earlier. The community that surprised me the most, it was dinner. I started hosting tiny dinners, 4 people max, sometimes 3, sometimes 2. I'd invite people I barely knew, people I'd met once, people I thought were interesting, and something wild happened. Those dinners created a friend group faster than anything else I've ever tried, because when you bring people together, you become the connector, and the connector becomes the social gravity amongst the solar system, which are your friends, and you keep them rotating around you so they're close to you. You don't need a big party, you need a table, some food, a willingness to go first. Here's the final truth. Friendship is iterative. You know, you try things, you meet people, some stick, some don't, but every person you meet increases your chance of meeting someone else. That's the network effect. One friend introduces you to another, that person introduces you to someone else, and suddenly you have a circle. And the last piece, the one nobody wants to hear, it takes time. Not forever, not years, but longer than you think, and shorter than you fear. Let me share with you one other thing. That moment that when I realized I had no real friends, it wasn't the end, it's the beginning. The tip that changed everything. Asking people to hang, going first, the community that surprised me, small dinners, and here's what I want you to take with you. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not the only one feeling this way. No matter what age you are, there are people out there right now who are waiting to meet you. People who will laugh with you in grocery store aisles. People who will remember your stories. People who will make your life feel full again. But they can't find you if you stay hidden. So get off your couch, say yes, go first, try things, show up, be real, give it time. You haven't missed your chance. Your people are still out there, and they're going to be so happy when they finally meet you. If you made it to the end of this video and you still think, damn, I don't think I could ever do that, and maybe you need a little bit extra help, you can hit that Google Docs in the description and